I hope. Okay. Take 3. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly at number 102. I can't believe how far into this show we are, but it excites me and it motivates me to do even more. We have a bunch to talk about today with new updates to the PTR, as well as holidays coming up in WoW and stuff that's been going on all week. But before we get into that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Hey everyone, hope you all had a good Thanksgiving if you had Turkey Day in the US, and if not, hope you had a good weekend. We have a lot of stuff because we were not here last Friday with Thanksgiving, so we've got a new PTR build, we've got plushies to talk about, and obviously we love plushies. And we even have some new merchandise codes because it's the start of December, so if you're doing any holiday shopping, we will have you covered.
That's true. So, I'm super excited, too, because it's like they keep coming out with new stuff in the Blizzard Gear Shop. Like, every 2 seconds, it seems like there's something new.
I've been also setting up some, like, preliminary things for a big Christmas giveaway with everyone. So I'm like, hey, can we have a discount? And by the way, can you set aside this gigantic pile of merchandise?
Can you also do this, please? I think that's important. So side note, we're talking about Christmas things. I just confirmed your Christmas present, and it's on its way to me. I was going to originally have it sent to you, but you said you were going to be in the area, so I figured I would just give it to you in person. I'm super excited about it because it's like a custom commission, one of a kind. I'm super pumped about it. So, yes. And I'm always a big fan of, like, supporting artists in the WoW community. So I was super pumped about it. I can't wait to give it to you. And I'm just going to tease you like this until I see you. Because I'm a terrible secret keeper. So this is...
I'll have to bring all my Pepes along as well.
Oh my god, look at your Pepe with his ash hat on top of the Pokemon. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was actually made by Devouring Eye on Twitter. I ran into... him and his wife at BlizzCon, and we were just talking in the line, and they were dressed up with their Pepes, and they're like, oh, check out this hat. And of course, if you're going to give me a hat and I'm holding on to a Pepe, I'm going to stick the hat on the Pepe. And I'm like, no, I didn't want to be forward, like, you can have the hat back. And they were like, no, like, your Pepe is adorable, like, you always highlight our work, like, keep the hat. So,
oh my gosh, they're the ones who did the Alexstrasza, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely give them a follow. They have so many Pepes on Twitter.
So many good Pepe hats. But that's not what we're here to talk about, unfortunately. We're here to talk about, right now, I guess, the 7.15 PTR, because there was a big PTR update. And I think one of the things that people are really excited about are the Mage and Hunter spell visuals, because we had talked about this at BlizzCon when we did our interview with...
Chris
Robinson and John Haidt, is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm very bad with names, so when I get a first and last name right in one try, that's good for me. And they had talked about that spell updates were coming, but they didn't really tell us that it was like 7.15. And when we also asked about Hunter, they didn't say that was going to be bundled in with spell visuals either. So I was pretty excited to see that they're already... on their way.
What was also cool was that some of these were for new spells added 2 weeks ago, and the visuals were kind of meh.
Yeah.
And they really amp them up now, so it's like, oh, look, improvements.
Yeah, so I have a video, if you guys want to check it out, of the new spell animations coming in 7.15 for Mages and Hunters.
Yep.
I love that shield.
Yeah, that looks way better than the old shield.
It's so good. It's so flamey.
I know.
It's so flamey.
And this is for Blazing Barrier, and this is obviously a Fire Mage only ability.
That's the Khadgar's spell of all time.
This is the
Prismatic
Arcane version.
Yep.
And
Prismatic Barrier.
Oh,
thank you so much for subscribing, Callie Monk. We got a subscriber, I believe, too, while we were loading. So thank you for those as well. These are the new Hunter traps, because Hunters are getting traps back in 7.15. This is the Steel Trap. And it looks really good. It looks like a bear trap.
Yeah, I like the little icy triangle thing.
It almost reminds me of Junkrat's trap.
Oh.
In Overwatch. And that's him. He's snared now. He's stuck. And now he's dead. And now he's dead. This is the explosive trap. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's so much shinier, and I believe the traps currently still have the spikes on them, but these look so much nicer and higher resolution.
Yeah, they definitely look really good. I also like that it kind of has that animation that's different between it being armed and it being disarmed. Like when it's not ready yet, it's a different color. Yeah. And this is Tar Trap. This one is totally new.
Yep.
And it's similar, but a different color.
Yeah, and everything just looks so crisp and bright and yeah, more modern and updated for Legion.
Oh, for sure. There you go. Oh, the animation on that is really nice.
Yeah, I like that one. That's all splashy.
Yep.
And
Is there one more, or is that it?
I think that's it. It's just the 5 for now.
So yeah, those are some of the new animations that you guys can expect for mages and hunters in 7.15, but I'm sure that's not the only animations we're going to see. That's just what's on the PTR right now.
Yeah, I forgot to put in the notes, but in our next bullet point, there were some new legendaries, and they're all for sale on Flaskatar, and the trinkets have some cool looking procs as well.
Oh, here, while you talk about those, I can bring up some of the visuals.
Okay, do you have the post on you?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yay.
So
as Panzer pulls that up, there were 3 new legendaries on the PTR. One for Guardian Druid called Oakheart's Puny Quads, one for Shadow Priest called, where is it? Zex Exterminatus, and it has a Westworld quote as the flavor text, which is, "You think I'm scared of death? I've done it 1,000,000 times. I'm great at it. How many times have you died?" And then the Hunter Legendary, which was just like survival placeholder, not yet in game, has been renamed to the Butcher's Bone Apron, which is a Diablo reference.
Yeah, and then there was also this visual update on Prida's, Zavarix Magnum Opus, which you can see on live servers. It's got kind of a, I don't know, underwhelming bubbly look, or it's like, it almost looks like a paladin, like
it's like Power Word Shield.
Yeah, it's like Power Word Shield, and on the PTR it's got this new shiny. It doesn't look like a paladin or a priest bubble. It has its own effect now.
Yeah. Do you also the trinket procs?
I do. I'm gonna throw them in one of these.
Ooh.
Hold on, they're coming. Other.
So as a recap, there are now trinkets which are legendaries, and there's a DPS one, a tank one, and a healer one. So they're not class specific, and they all are extremely flashy.
Yes, there's a slideshow of them up right now. This is for Archimonde's Hatred Reborn, Killjaden's Burning Wish, and Valen's Future Sight. Yeah. There might be one more in there that's not labeled, I'm not sure.
The Archimonde one, it's the explosion, you go from green to purple.
Ah, alright.
So
that makes
one
sense.
is an absorb shield, that's 50% of your maximum health, and when it's consumed or expired, the damage absorbed is dealt to nearby enemies. Killjaden has this explosion that deals a critical strike to everyone. And Velen is it increases all healing done by 10%, and then overhealing is distributed to up to 3 nearby allies. So,
I love that they're adding all these visual procs and updates to legendaries, because some of them are pretty boring right now. Like I think I have the worst legendary ever. It's just I never use it in the situation that I'm in, and then like it never it doesn't do anything fun when it procs. So I'm using it for the stats essentially, but I would be much more excited if it had some sort of shiny visual flashy thing that went with it.
Yeah. Also, the older legendaries continue to receive changes, like Cephas, for example, 2 weeks ago received a pretty big haste buff, and then just this week it can dispelling and interrupting can also have it proc. So yeah, that's a big update for that.
Who's that for?
Cephas.
Yeah,
Cephas' secret, the ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the change log. Like they added. Oh yeah, so they added dispelling would grant you the movement and haste effect, and previously it was just interrupting or the loss of control effect.
Oh,
so,
that's dispelling. Yeah. Adding dispelling to that is huge. Adding dispelling to that is huge. But that's not even, like, there's so much coming in 7.15. Like, obviously, we just talked about there are new legendaries for every single, there are legendaries that are usable by every single spec. So there isn't going to be any specs that are left out in that sense. Some have ones that are spec specific. Other ones have a class one that's usable on all specs.
Or shamans or warriors so
far. But a whole new round of legendaries coming. They're also buffing and nerfing various legendaries depending on what kind of situation they're in right now. But we're also going to see a new system for artifact research that's going to help people catch up and
this is very cool,
and also use more artifact research. No, they're going to be able to use like these compendiums to get artifact power or artifact research. It's all very confusing on their alts. So there's basically two totally separate things. The first one is if you are a fresh 110, you don't have any other 110s, and you're really far behind, you can start a quest that's called Unseen Power. Knowledge is power. Power is involved.
So there's a quest you can do, and it's repeatable, and you basically turn in 500 Order Hall resources for each one, and then you get a free artifact knowledge level, and that goes up to AK-15, so you need like 7,500 total.
And that just will instantly boost you up to AK-15, which is super nice if you're behind and you don't have a main per se. Now, if you already do have a main and your alts are far behind, there is a separate system coming in 7.15 that's going to help you catch up, and it's these artifact compendiums that come in different volumes. And basically, your main needs to out-level the compendium by 5 levels. So if the compendium will bring you up to level 10 instantly, you need to be level 15. But they're bind on account, so you'll be able to send them to your alts. And they go all the way up right now to level 20, and then there's some data mine stuff hinting that in the future they might go further than that. But what's nice about this is if you're on your main and you do the quest like we were just talking about, that's going to cost you 500 per level. But if you already have a main and you're trying to get your alts caught up, or if maybe you're trying to switch mains and go to an alt instead of your main, with the compendiums, it's only going to cost you like 1,000 gold to get to 5 levels below where your main is, if that makes any sense. So if your main is level 20, you're going to be able to get to level 15 with only 1,000 Order Hall resources, which is really, really nice, especially since you can buy the Order Hall resources for
so
Blood
many
of Sargeras.
resources.
Yes, it's very confusing. But I think the most important thing to note about this is that for a little while in the PTR, people were under the impression that if they stacked their artifact research notes that you get from the work order in your Order Hall, that, you know, you'd be able to use these compendiums and then you could use the notes that you had stockpiled on top of that. But it doesn't stack.
Yeah, you can't game it.
Yeah, it's sort of like an equation right now where, say, your main is artifact knowledge 20, you buy a 15, you send it to your alt, and your alt is, say, level 7 and has 3 in their bags. It's not going to bring you up to level 15 and then you get to use the 3. It'll bring you to 12 and then you get to use the 3 and still get brought to 15. So yeah, it's not worth stockpiling them. Don't do that. Try to keep yourself caught up in the time being, but don't stockpile them. It's not going to help you at all. But it's really, really cool, and now would be a great time to farm Blood of Sargeras because there's going to be so much stuff to spend Order Hall resources on when 7.15 comes out.
Yeah. So, on a lighter note, a less complicated note, there are a lot of fun booze items added in the data mining, including one named after a drink from the Wowhead Party menu that we suggested. So, they have some really funny names, like there's Coil Fang Reserve, Blood and Thunder, Earl Grey Main Hot, Liquid Karaji.
That's the best one. That's the best one by far. That is both a pun and a reference and a dad joke.
Yep. Magni's Beard, Mex on the Beach, Mulgore Mule.
Mex on the Beach. Oh my goodness.
Mulgore Mule, which is the Wowhead Party one.
So good.
Nomi's Fire Whiskey, and I know you love Fire Whiskey.
I don't love it. The internet okay, I don't not love it, but the internet has taken that one and just run with it. Anytime anybody sees Fire Whiskey, they're like, Panzer!
Yep. And then there's Wild Murky and Sargeras Sangria, which I think is funny because, like, Sangria is very, like, fruity
and girly. And, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. All of this is amazing.
I think these are tied to the event called the Kirin Tor Tavern Crawl because that would make sense, but, you know, we haven't been able to test that holiday yet on the PTR, so speculation.
I'm going to make a video when that comes out, when the Tavern Crawl comes out, and I'm going to try to dupe all of those drinks in real life, and by the end of the video, I'm no longer going to be able to record myself, so hopefully I'll have some staff around. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Thank you.
J-Man Nico.
Nice.
Awesome.
We need to get on our emotes.
I'm sorry. I'm not an artist. I got to find an artist to do them is basically what you're saying. I'm working on it. If anybody who's watching is an artist and is interested in making us some emotes, you tweet me and you let me know. Anyways, also, there are secondary stat changes coming in 7.15 that are giving people quite a worry.
Yeah, it's sort of tied into this general discussion about class feedback and communication because we knew at the post-BlizzCon Q&A that the secondary stat changes were coming, but when it arrived on the PTR, it was unfinished, so people were very confused.
Yeah.
And this sort of hit after Thanksgiving where people were already sort of curious why they weren't getting their concerns answered about class changes because, people were on vacation and not responding to blue posts. So
Yeah.
it all sort of like steamrolled together into this
Yes.
general, like, what is PTR?
It turned into like a whole, everybody felt very ignored, and Blizzard's like, we were just eating turkey, and basically the TLDR is that it's not finished. More adjustments are on the way. Put your pitchforks away and try not to panic.
Yep. And they actually, as a result of all this feedback and communication, they started responding to more PTR posts. And before we get to the meat of the post, I just wanted to go over sort of what Blizzard's take on the situation was. And yeah, so basically Blizzard apologized and sympathized with people for feeling confused and panicked about all these unimplemented things. And it came to a head where Watcher Dev made a post saying, "Hey, Nighthold's open for testing," and people were like what? Like, what is Nighthold? Like, we want like help with our class changes. Like, Nighthold was already tested. So Watcher made some more posts along with lore that they know that communication on 7.1.5 hasn't been good. Blizzard has been having internal meetings on it, that they want to reply faster about things. Even if they don't have a solution, they can say, hey, we empathize, we know that this is actually really confusing, and that having Nighthold open will help them get more data on how they can better balance the classes.
Yeah.
And there's actually a Legion Q&A this upcoming Wednesday, and they weren't like detailed on what they were discussing, but I would assume that they would be explaining more of these big class and system changes.
Yeah.
And then they followed it up with some blue posts on one of the hunter abilities that was getting a lot of attention, Waylay. And, for the more general audience, they explained what the actual vision was with the secondary stats. And they had 3 major points, and 2 of them were visible on the PTR, and the third one was not, and that confused everything a lot. So the first was that they wanted the stats to if you got an item, they wanted the item level to determine the upgrade more than does it have my perfect secondary stat. So they tweaked some of the ratings values so there wouldn't be some, crit was amazing for one spec and more than intellect, something like that.
Yeah, well, right now, and there's a lot of situations like that right now. I know for healers, if you're a healing monk, versatility or die.
Yeah. So they're trying to get away from that. And then another issue was that some jewelry stats were not scaling effectively on it. So if you have jewelry with your perfect stat combo, you would hold on to that versus a jewelry piece that had a way higher item level.
Yep.
So they were boosting things up, which you can see on Wowhead. Sepha's, for example, now has a lot more secondary stats on the PTR than it does at live. So if your jewelry item and your high item level, you have a lot more stats than you do live. And then the third thing, the missing piece, is that Blizzard wants to increase the amount of stats on items above item level 800, and that part is not in yet. So, people logged on and they're like, oh, my crit doesn't give me as much.
Yeah, why did everybody get nerfed?
Yeah, so that was a really key piece of the puzzle that was not there. And because it is really important, I'm going to read, the actual part of the blue post. It was, the third goal is don't lower player power. This is a key part of the overall strategy that isn't yet complete. Right now on the PTR, player power is definitely down a few % compared to live. The next build will have changes that increase the total amount of stats given by all items above level 800 to account for this gap, such that the overall power of your equipped items should be about the same, if not slightly higher than it is currently in 7.1. So your overall character power will come from your primary stats than it did before, and so all of your abilities will hit harder even if they crit less or happen less frequently.
Well, and that's super nice too, because like I said, I know that there are specific specs in classes that it's worse for than others, but I definitely just recently got a crazy Titan Forged item that was 880. It was really, really, really good. but it had like crit and versatility on it. And I play a Resto Shaman, so it doesn't matter. If it doesn't, I can't even justify changing that right now if it doesn't at least have one of the two haste or mastery. So it's so nice that they are balancing that out so that when you do get those really big upgrade eye levels that you don't have to keep, you know, an 845 or an 850 equipped because of itemization.
Yeah, and like I hope that the communication does continue to improve because during the beta for a while, there were these developer insight posts that would give a preview of what was coming even before the data mining hit. So they'd say like a new spec was coming or that to keep an eye out for a certain new talent.
Yeah.
And that was really useful. And it sort of stopped with the PTRs. And I think it's even more important for a PTR because anyone can log on the PTR and test and play while during a beta, at least at the start, you know, it's closed, it's invite only.
Yeah.
They tend to have people that, you know, sign up to beta test a lot of other games. So I think it's really important for a PTR to, you know, actually set expectations and to keep giving those types of heads up because, I think that between Thanksgiving and the secondary stats, and there was this really weird data thing right before Thanksgiving where we could data mine change spells, but not the names of new spells. And I'm not sure why they processed the build that way, but it was really confusing because we couldn't show people a full picture of what was happening.
Yeah.
We're like, well, you know, we'd like to show you more, but we literally cannot.
We literally can't. I'm sorry. So. Yeah, no, I feel like it's hard for me to like criticize where they are right now with communication after Warlords of Draenor. Like they're already so way ahead of where they were communication wise with players, and even when they come out and say things like, "We know this hasn't been good," like we're recognizing that
great.
I think
it just was like at a sort of like high point during the beta. Well, I mean, maybe a high point is inaccurate because I know there was like other issues, but like prepping the new build with expectations, I think was better during the beta.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if they say like, yeah, you know, we're going to implement all these changes, but they're only 60% complete. So don't freak out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. And I'm definitely looking forward to Wednesday's Q&A to see, you know, what they have to say and what kind of questions they'll be answering. So did we miss anything? No, we get to talk about the Fell Kitty now, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're done with PTR. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, you can always send them to SAS148, and we will answer them at the end of the show.
Yes, we'll do our best. I am going to flip over to the Mischief video that Blizzard put on YouTube, and then we can talk about her.
Yeah.
From the tower above, you could hear Krazzle wail. For he hated and loathed and despised Wintervale, perpetually vexed by the townsfolk and their revelry. And above all, there was one he hated the most, a gnome named Lemmy. But he had a plan, a dubious plan, a machine to kibosh all the gifts in the land. He tested it once, he tested it twice. There would be no gifts for those naughty or nice. The countdown began, but shortly thereafter, a knock at the door interrupted his laughter. He peered through his spyglass to see what's amiss. 'Twas his nemesis, Lemmy, and he was leaving a gift. He threw open the door, but Lemmy was gone. Just a bow-wrapped box he looked suspiciously upon. He looked in the package, and what did he see? A kitty, as dubious and maniacal as he. He tearfully took the evil bundle into his arms, then remembered his anti-gift ray was still armed. He ran to the lab to shut the ray down, but it was too late to cancel the final countdown. If there was any chance to stop this, he'd have to think fast. How lucky that his knowledge of explosions was vast. He set the charges, and then lit the fuse, and jumped into the escape pod without a minute to lose. And as his lab went up with a fireworks flare, Kraz and his kitty soared high in the air. From orbit they saw all the joy in the land. It just took a furry fell miracle for Krazzle to understand.
Merry Winter Vale from World of Warcraft. Adopt Mischief, the fell kitty, today. Visit worldofwarcraft.com for more details.
Okay, I love goblins so much, it's unreal.
I know. That was adorable.
Like, every time a goblin does anything, I'm sitting over here like, just so excited. Like, that's like my favorite Christmas thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I love that the cat was evil as well. I have no negative things to say.
Yeah, Blizzard is really outdoing themselves with the cinematics. I remember when they did the Bright Paw one, they had the little cat jokes, like the cat being terrified of vegetables and like, just like being obsessed with shiny things. And yeah, this video was so cute as well.
So cute. I have a video coming out later today that is, if you do end up buying her in the store, how you get pets now once you've bought them, since it's different probably from the last time a lot of people have purchased pets. I'll be giving one away. I know Wowhead is giving a bunch away. And then I also am showing you how to get your new battle pet from level 1 to 25 really in like helpful. 25 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, people will love to hear that.
It's from a Wowhead guide. I didn't come up with that. That's a Wowhead guide.
Yeah. Cycle. Yeah.
But yeah, so exciting thing about this is not only are we getting this adorable fell kitten who just came out today, but Blizzard is making a plush of her too.
I know, and it's glow in the dark too.
It's so cute. I can't.
I know.
I love it so much.
I was super excited about the plush, and it was such like a well hidden secret too, and it explains why they scheduled the pet originally for December 1st. And with, like trying to get the plushie to launch at the same time, why it sort of got delayed to like midday today.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's adorable. It's adorable. Yeah. And the in-game pet is adorable too. Everything is adorable, and Panzer
I love the
happy.
Legion like charm on its collar.
I know. I just love it in the little video of the kitten and the goblin. I love when they're like, and the kitten was as maniacal as he, and he picks the kitten up and it's like, meow. So good. So good. I need everything. Like, I bought it immediately, and it was not a great purchase. Plus, the Make-A-Wish Foundation is such a good cause. If you guys aren't familiar, they totally if a little kid, or even, they go up to like 21, actually. It's not just little kids, but it's pretty much any young person who has a serious illness. It doesn't necessarily have to be terminal, but a serious illness is just given the opportunity to make a wish and have a day or two or however long of fun and being carefree and not having to worry about the very serious thing going on in their life. They send kids to Disney World, and they send them to meet their favorite celebrities. And when I was in high school, I went to school with a kid who had leukemia, and he didn't end up making it. He's still around. He's good. But I remember everybody in our school was super excited for him because he met I grew up near Syracuse, New York, and there was like a big popular basketball player from Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony, I think his name is Anthony Carmelo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Basketball. But he got to like meet him and like spend a whole day with him, and then they went to like a concert together and like went backstage. It was really cool. Like they go so far above and beyond for that. And you know what's funny is that one of the biggest contributors to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the person who's made the most individual appearances to kids' hospitals, is like John Cena. Oh. So he's like this big, huge, tough guy, and like there's all these pictures of him having like tea parties with little girls, and like so it's like a great organization. Oh yeah, someone just said that as I said it. Johnson has done over 500 personal Make-A-Wish wishes. That's really... So it's like it's such a good cause. And Blizzard, I think I did the math one time, and they've raised like, I want to say it was like 28 million. Don't quote me, but I think it's in the ballpark.
I think Quintessence from Warcraft Pets has been keeping track. She was tweeting about it earlier today.
Is that right? 18, 28? It wouldn't be including Bright Paw, because I did the video before Bright Paw.
I can't find it. Like, she just was tweeting. She's like, oh, I want to know what the amount is for the plush and the pet, because I always keep track of it.
Yeah, I think
there it is. There it is. I found the link. 1 second. So they raised, it's close to 11 million just on the pets.
Yeah, I did. In my History of Blizzard Entertainment video, I think one of the things that I covered was how much they had raised, and with everything they'd done, maybe it was 18 million with absolutely everything they've done all together, including like when they auctioned off the server and like all of that stuff.
This was just for the in-game battle pass.
Yeah, for like everything they've done, it's like close to 20 million. It's a ton of money, and that's not including Bright Paw, because that video was done before Bright Paw, and just all in all, the amount that Blizzard supports charities and stuff is one of the reasons I'm really proud to be part of their community, because
Bright Paw raised 1.7 million. So
yeah, Bright Paw raised a ton. And it's like every pet has raised more than the last. Like, I believe.
I mean, it's always been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And they've also done things for the American Red Cross too, like the Cinder Kitten was for.
Oh my gosh, maybe that's where I
Sandy.
got. Maybe 18 million was all of the battle pets, not just Make-A-Wish.
Right.
But anyways,
So,
it's a ton of money.
Lots
It's
of things.
a ton of money, and it's a great cause, and it's an adorable pet, and it's pretty strong in pet battles. It's got some abilities that I haven't seen other places. Granted,
Yeah.
I'm not like a pro pet battler by any means, but all in all, good pet.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 will sit on your lap.
Yeah, it's super cute.
So-
Also the flavor text is cute too for the pet.
What does it
it's
say?
So the flavor text says, this ferocious feline followed the fell forces into Azeroth during the Legion's return. So it's, like there's some big demon having this little, pet to just,
Yeah.
be a friend and like de-stress and
It's the best. I loved the animation so much. I loved it so much, but yeah. So anyways, if you want to get that pet, she is $10 in the Blizzard mount and pet shop that's right in game, or you can buy her from the website, of course. If you buy her before the end of the year, sometime in December, you're going to see 100% of those proceeds go to Make-A-Wish. So basically you get a cute pet and you're making a donation to an amazing cause.
And half the plushie, $14 out of the 25 for the plushie will go to Make-A-Wish as well.
Yeah, so that's more than half because the plushie's
Yeah.
only 25. So yeah, that's great too. So definitely pick those up. The plushie glows in the dark. It's just, I don't know. There's no downsides.
I think we'll
here.
have one to preview kind of soon, so that's exciting.
Yeah,
That was part of my merchandise emails.
We're pumped about all of this, but
Yeah.
so I don't know. I could go on. I could go on about pets and plushies and charity,
Yeah.
but we'll move
I
on.
wonder if Pepe will get along with it. Pepe didn't get along with Bright Paw. But
Oh, I
Yeah.
wish they'd make it. It's funny because that was the first thing I said was, oh man, I wish they would have made a Bright Paw plushie because that would have been
Yeah.
good stuff. Also, what's going on in game right now? The Dark Moon Fair? When did that start?
The Darkmoon Fair starts again Saturday night.
Saturday.
And if you missed out last month, there's a new Darkmoon fish underwater swimming mountain
Yep.
you can get for 500 of the Dagger Maw.
Yep.
So pick that up. And also there's the reputation and experience buffs from the Top Hat or the Carousel. So yeah, if you're working on reputations for Draenor Pathfinder, or you missed out on the Pilgrim's Bounty sharing buff, you can grind out some reps.
Yep.
And the Darkmoon Fair will help you out.
Yep.
And,
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, since we're talking about what's coming versus what's live versus what's coming, I was gonna talk about Nithog before PvP. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I got a picture of him. Bam! This is Nidhogg.
Okay. Yeah. So he is back. There are 2 world bosses we haven't seen yet. He is important because for warriors exalted with Valajar and also artifact knowledge 4 or higher, he will drop the Skull of Nithog, which needs to be combined with 2 other items. And when you combine it, you unlock the Dragon Slayer's Edge appearance for the Fury warrior artifact. You don't need to be in Fury Spec to loot it, but you do need those requirements I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 100% drop if you fit all that criteria. Also, if you've been doing the world bosses, you probably have Unleashed Monstrosities done, and you're like, why don't I have this artifact tint? And that's because you need to do improving on history first, which you cannot finish until Nighthold hits, because it requires a quest there.
Yep.
And there's also, do we got a slide for Cataclysm Time Walking? We can both talk about it.
That is right here.
All right, so Cataclysm Time Walking is a bonus event. You can get time warped badges. You can complete 5 dungeons to get a cache of nightmarish treasures and a seal of broken fate. And there's a lot of cool stuff you can buy. And if you don't really like any of the stuff, you can save badges for items from other holidays, which is our slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
And what is most interesting is that Mista Pandaria is time walking. Oh, look, there it is.
Yep, that's in 7.15. We're getting Mista Pandaria time walking. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and what's cool about Mista Pandaria is that it has this gorgeous Heavenly Jade Cloud Serpent mount for 5,000 badges, the Yulai Daughter of Jade. And it's also the first holiday to have pet rewards as well. So we've got the Infinite Hatchling and the Paradox Spirit, which cost 2,200 time warped badges each. And there's also cute things like the adopted puppy crate, and the portable yak wash. So if Cataclysm Time Walking doesn't have rewards that you love, definitely save up for Mr. Pandaria, and you can buy a bunch of cool stuff.
Yes. I'm so excited for that little onyx dragon serpent, wind serpent. He's super cute. Cloud serpent? Some sort of serpent. Pandaria serpent.
Yep.
And if you did the Corgi event during the, well, I guess it wouldn't always be for the Corgi, but if you did the trivia event, you could have gotten a ton of free badges. So, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. Yep. And do you want to talk about the legendary thing first? Or do you
we'll talk about the legendaries because that already happened. And then
okay, sure.
So, on Thanksgiving, actually, Thanksgiving morning, Watch Your Dev posted some good news about legendaries and the soft cap. So, to explain this, high-end players had noticed that there was this legendary item soft cap where your bad luck protection was not continuing once players had acquired more than 4 legendaries. So basically, if you were playing a lot, you had like diminishing returns after you had 4 legendaries. And on Thanksgiving morning, Watch Your Dev posted that the item soft cap had been removed a week ago, but a lot of people did not notice that because the people that were, playing a ton, they were pushing progression and Trial of Valor, and as if you're wiping to a boss, you're not really doing the activities to earn more legendaries. So, this came up because a lot of people were talking about, like the progression race and various like exploits that were going on, and how maybe like the legendary system wasn't ideal and like contributed to people like doing different things to get an edge. So, this post was made to explain that, hey, a week ago we actually changed how this all fit together.
Oh my god.
And, there's no plans. We talked about legendaries earlier, but there's no plans to have people equip more legendaries at the current time, but they are adding new legendaries and tuning existing ones for 7.1.5.
I'm gonna rant now. Boo-hoo! Ooh, I have 4 legendaries and they're not good enough. I'm so sad. Shut up. I'm done now. I have really bad RNG, so I'm very sad about this whole situation because I've gotten 1 crappy legendary, and it's not like I don't play WoW. I play a lot of WoW.
I mean, imagine, playing every day and being like, oh, this is, my second job or my job, and you're not getting legendaries.
Yeah, they got 4, and then they weren't getting legendaries.
Yeah, so,
but, I get it. There's no reason for there really to have been a cap, but I would have preferred an announcement that was I don't know, increasing the rate of drop for people who don't have them still or have less.
I would have preferred they made the announcement when the change went live and not on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sort of going back to the whole communication thing about people not getting a full picture about things. And a lot of people are not really paying attention to WoW on Thanksgiving, so I feel like maybe people that would have cared about this did not hear it because they were running around with family or, doing
whatever you do.
Yep.
Doing whatever you do. So, yeah, I get it. I don't know. I, definitely get it, but I also feel like that's such an odd problem to, address, right? It's not that it's not an issue, and it's not that it's something that shouldn't have been fixed, but there's probably significantly more people like me who have only gotten 1 or haven't gotten any that are, struggling through RNG to be addressing people who have gotten 4.
I think it's similar to how Blizzard talks about the purpose of mythic rating, the vast majority of people do not do mythic rating, but having people striving to do this really cool thing can help inspire people and maybe get someone into rating. So
yeah, no, I get
people care what people at the top putting all the hours in do, and if someone's like, oh, I played an hour a day, should I play 2 to hopefully get a new legendary? If they see if they see people saying, oh, don't bother, you put all this time and you don't get anything, that's going to discourage them. But if they're like, oh man, this person I follow who has the best gear on the server, they play a lot and they got all this stuff, that could inspire them.
Yeah, I see that. I would like to be inspired with better RNG.
I am sorry you don't have a legendary.
Well, I have one. It's just bad. It's just bad. But that's okay. That's okay. It's just when I literally heard about that fix, I was like, oh, boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! Cry me a river,
Yeah.
boo-hoo.
I mean, I think, it's just like, for that audience, I think they were happy to hear about it.
Yeah, and I think they mentioned that in the post, too, that it only affected, like, such a small fraction of people. Like, did they say, I feel like I heard that only 0.3% of guilds clear Mythic. Is that right?
They didn't mention those numbers.
No, not in that post, but I feel like recently they said, I don't remember where I saw
said
it.
that it's a very small percentage, and I think, so...
I don't know. It's definitely interesting. It's like interesting to see that perspective in general because it's not my perspective at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's good. I don't want to say it's good for a game that people are like killing themselves, feeling they have to get every legendary, or else like bad things will happen to their raid. But it's people are putting a lot of hours into the game, and it's just interesting to see how people can play the game in such different ways.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's like my friend. She's new to WoW. She's been playing for maybe 6 months, and she's got her first 110, and she's doing quests, and she says to me, and she whispers to me, and she's like, I hate Suramar. I don't want to be here. I was like, then don't. Like, there's so much other stuff you can do in game. Like, don't feel like you need to do anything that you don't think is fun.
Which is funny, because I'm like, oh, Suramar is so great, and it's like, other people are just like, oh.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where I love the way the area looks, and like once you're used to questing there, it's not bad. But coming in from like every other zone and then doing like Suramar City is kind of brutal. Like when you first are getting started in there, it's especially tough. Like demon hunters and rogues, like you could either stealth or like double jump.
Yeah, I love it on my demon hunter. It's just like
get away.
Yeah. It's very cool.
I can't get away. Well, now I can because it gives you the actual form when you turn into a ghost wolf, which is nice. But anyways, back to things that have not been implemented yet.
Yes, Season 2 PvP.
Yes, which starts on December 13th.
Yeah, and what's cool about this is it's not tied to any major patch, which is a big change in Legion because usually when people announce a PvP date, half of the excitement was not about the PvP, but it was like, oh, is the patch with the raid coming then?
Yeah.
So they made a blue post being like, no, we've actually tried to like separate that so we can have more frequent seasons and not have to like rush to have a bunch of other stuff done at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Season 1 will also end on the same day, just a few hours earlier. And what's also interesting is that if you don't really want to do the whole rated PvP grind, you can still have something to look forward to because Prestige will not reset and the new cap will be level 8 in Season 2. So, like, none of the rewards are going away with Prestige. It just means that if you want, like, the level 8 reward, you haven't done any PvP, you have to grind through, like, level 1 through level 8 to get there.
Yeah. That would be nice if... Wait. Back up. Have they added any catch-up mechanisms for Prestige?
Not that I know of. I mean, like, there's just, like, the world quest, like, the whole system.
Yeah. It would be nice that if after a while you could, like, catch up to a certain, like, you know what I mean? Like, if maybe they doubled your points.
I mean, if it's just for cosmetic things, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Like, I know that they were talking about different armor things, and, like, if you're doing rated PvP, they want it to be so, your rating affects the eye level you get and, a bunch of other things, but I don't think they'll say, oh, if you want, like, the other armored unicorn, we'll make it, have a catch-up for that.
I just wish they hadn't tied the unicorns to PvP. It makes me sad.
I don't know why they get upset when we call them unicorns.
They are unicorns. They're horses with horns. That's what a unicorn is.
Also, on a transmog note, speaking of vanity cosmetic armor things, PvP armor in Season 2 will share an appearance with Season 1 armor, and when Season 2 ends, so, many months from now, you can buy this appearance for marks of honor. So not during Season 2, but after Season 2, because I assume Season 3 and 4 will look a bit different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's basically it. I've seen a lot of people excited about the Prestige and PvP armor. I don't think we know what the rewards are now. We have, like, a pool of unicorns and a pool of the pennants that we know are from various Prestige levels, but we're not exactly sure how it all lines up.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know what the artifact appearances are for each Prestige level, so you can check that out in the artifact weapon calculator.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we're on to merchandise now.
Merchandise!
Yay.
Merchandise. I have the hiccups. So I don't think I grabbed this image, but I have an image because they added a bunch of new stuff. Like, it's just like constant. It's like every time I turn around, they've added new stuff. But some of the new stuff that was added, I think it was on Black Friday or right before Black Friday.
There was some on Monday, and then some on that Black Friday, and then Cyber Monday.
Yeah, so I am obsessed with the Diva sweatshirt.
I know. It's so cute.
good.
I wish they had, like, an actual picture of someone wearing it, but it's so cute.
Yeah, especially since the picture of it is, like, simulated. It's not an actual photograph, but I still love it. I don't care. I know I would like it. There's also a new Somber shirt. There's some bomber jackets. There's some new Flex Fit Horde and Alliance hats. Bunch of stuff.
There's a Reaper statue you can pre-order.
The Reaper statue that is all hand-painted. It's $150, which is a really good price for what that is.
Yeah, like Illidan is 300 something.
Yeah, I mean, he's not as big as Illidan, but that's still a really good price because the original sculpt was, like, hand-sculpted. Right. It's not like it was factory made. So yeah, it's super nice. And there's a ton of stuff you can get out of the Gear Shop right now that's new. And then we also have our discount, which is
discount code.
I'm not sure that I made it in here either, but I have it right here.
Oh, no.
It is Blizzard Gear Shop. Right now, our code is Wowhead DEC, and you get 15% off all apparel and accessories.
Yeah, and if you look at that picture, it's quite interesting because you're like, there's a plushie. And it's like, that's a plushie, that's a hat. So it counts as an accessory. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we've worn the Wild Bangerang dresses. You can see the Darkmoon Fair one that's up. Highly recommend it. Also, those robes on the left-hand side, they can be pretty expensive, but they're, well made. They're good if it's cold and you just want to, like, lounge around.
Oh, yeah, I wear the Priest one all the time. I bought the Priest one when it was on clearance.
I have the Priest one. It's fun. It's oversized. It's
oh my gosh, I can't imagine one of those on you because it's big on me and I'm 8 inches taller than you.
I put a picture on Twitter and it was, I was trying to, like, have a rogue theme, so I was holding, like, dual-wielding kitchen knives, and apparently it was both terrifying and hilarious.
It sounds like both of those things.
Yep.
It's amazing.
So that's the Blizzard Gear Shop code, and we are giving 5 of the Fell Mischief plushies away as part of our giveaway. And we're working on a bigger Christmas giveaway, so stay tuned.
And that's the Mischief plush, just to remind you guys. Sorry for covering your face, Perk.
Yep. It's so okay.
Cute. So cute. We also have a code this month for Jinx, which also got deleted in here. At least my sound is working. I've got that going for me. That is right. There's Blizzard Gear. There's Jinx. We also have a new code this month for Jinx that is free economy shipping worldwide with the code Wowhead, which is super nice because I know that international shipping can be insane.
Yeah, and we've listed Blizzard-themed items in the image, but we also tested it on some non-Blizzard items, and it worked. So yeah, have fun.
It's just code Wowhead, free shipping, very nice. And Jinx has a ton of sales going on right now anyways. Their Black Friday sales all extended through, I want to say past Christmas. I think it was through the 30th or the 31st.
Yeah, they had like a Black Friday sale and they had a Holiday 2016 sale, which is still going on. Oh yeah, holiday deals for the month is 20% off orders over 40, 25% off orders over 60, and 30% off all orders over 75.
Yeah.
So.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Super nice. I also know they have some things that are on super sale. Like, I think they have the Portal mugs are only like $5 right now, and they're normally $15. That might have just been Black Friday, though. That's off the top of my head.
No, I mean, I know the Portal mugs, we were testing with that. The Portal mugs work on free shipping. At least we know that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you were, like, considering doing any of that, now would be a great time to get it, because discounts, why not? And hopefully Sass has some questions from our live live home audience.
Yeah, one of them, Max, actually off the beaten path. We'll get to that one at the end, but let's see. Are you guys expecting any big reveals in the next Q&A with Blizzard? Actually, I'm not, because I don't think they'll do like a mic drop and do 7.1.5 because it's still really new. I think they'll just do a lot of explaining secondary stats and
we might get a definitive date.
I mean, they could, but I feel like usually when they do that, they're like, oh, it's like next week.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think we're in next week territory.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, they had originally, what's funny is that they specifically have said 7.15 and Nighthold are not tied together. Like, you'll get one and then the other. But then they're both also scheduled for January. Like they said, the target for both of those is January. So I'm just wondering which one is early January, which one is late January.
I think 7.1.5 will be early, and then Nighthold will be later because what Blizzard was saying during BlizzCon about like having the story lead up to things, they like to sort of have the non-raid content precede the actual raid.
Yeah.
So I feel like they want to get people hyped by like, you know, you do your Winterveil stuff, you do your Diablo holiday, you know, you try out your, you know, get your new legendaries, and then you get hyped on how to use them, and then you go to Nighthold. So.
Well, I'm hyped in general. I'm super excited. I just wrote up a video that's going up next week on everything coming in 7.15. I did like a 39 things video.
Oh, nice.
And there were things that I didn't even like know, you know, until I was doing the video. And then I also, in doing that, I also started writing 7.2 in the side because I can't believe how much we already know about 7.2.
I know.
But there's some really good stuff coming in 7.5. There's new neck enchants for everyone, new shoulder enchants for engineers. There's also, like, that's when they're putting in all the mini holidays, which the first one, I feel like we're going to get 7.15 before January 21st. Because the first event is January 21st, so if they didn't... I
would agree.
Yeah, if they didn't hit that date, we would have to wait a whole year. So that's kind of like a hint teaser of what that might be. So, and there's 2 events scheduled for January. So I'm super excited for that. That's the Call of the Scarab and the Tavern Crawl, which you said you found booze things. Then, of course, the Brawlers Guild is coming back. There is... Oh, the Battle.net token?
Yeah, that's a thing.
The Battle.net token is a
for
thing?
balance. There are these new blacksmithing recipes, and there are these fun quests to get them. I've been farming them this week so I can like know what all the sources are. You know, there's always new battle pets and toys that are coming.
Yeah.
Karazhan, wait, is that 7.2?
No, that's 7.2. Okay. That is 7.2. Okay. But the Blade's Edge Arena is getting its visual revamp, its new voice announcer pack. There's also going to be a bunch of obviously class changes, talent changes, stuff like that. But there's a lot coming for it to be considered a mini patch. And granted, at 7.15, they said it was probably closer to medium than small, but it's still considered small. So I think that they're doing them just doing that in general is really a quality of life change for the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Next one is, do you want to see Hearthstone Gadgetzan in WoW?
Oh my god, wait.
Which is funny because we were like super into this during our interview.
A video written about this as well, is how Blizzard could redo Gadgetzan based on in Hearthstone. Because in Hearthstone, it's like this bustling city that's got this like 19...
I wrote an article about it today as well, being like, let's compare the 2 cities, and like... Gadgetzan and WoW is very sleepy, and in like Hearthstone you've got these factions and museums and
well the thing is right now they've said they want to do a Goblin and Worgen update, so I feel like they could have a patch and the patch would be like the revamping of Gadgetzan. You would get your Goblin and Worgen models. There would be a mini raid with 3 bosses. It would be the 3 crime family, the heads of the 3 crime families. They could also visually revamp Gadgetzan, and it could be the first area outside of the Broken Isle with world quests. And with like the scaling quest technology.
I also like how the Jade Lotus is a faction in Gadgetzan, and it ties in with the idea of Mr. Pandaria time walking. To suddenly have all these Pandaren doing things like Madame Goya is back. There's Lucky Do Buccaneers. There's like Jinyu and Hosen. Rathian is back.
So. It would be so good. Like, it would be, like, right now, Gadgetzan is pretty much dead. Like, there's no reason to go there unless they put something there, like, you know, when they did the demon invasions. But really, other than your occasional pop in and pop out, it's not a highly used area. And it's also in this place that's huge, and there's, like, nothing around.
I know, there's no trees.
It's not dense or anything. Like, they could take up half that continent, and it would not affect anything that was going on. So I vote that they do it. And that they could also implement all these other things with it that would make people so happy.
7.2.5?
Yeah, exactly. 7.2.5. But it would be awesome because they could do a mini raid. I feel like there's so much opportunity there, and like people would love it. Plus, I'm a big fan of goblins, so there would be goblins.
As you mentioned before.
It would be cute too because they could have like little mini game type NPCs where maybe you could go in the back alley and like talk to a goblin rogue, and you could like roll the bones and gamble. There could be like little gambling things.
Oh, so cute.
You know, and they could add toys that were like dice, and they could add toys that were like a cigar.
I think that'd be funny to have like these wild Noggenfogger quests that you have to do like world quests while afflicted by some Noggenfogger thing.
It'd be so good.
And
I feel like all of the quests would end up being like that one goblin quest where you're getting sent on like a mission only to get burned in the end. And that's why you would end up having to go to the raid, because all the crime families would manipulate you into like working for them and not accomplishing anything you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Blizzard, please. Blizzard, please. It would just be awesome. This is all just me being selfish, and I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah. So this third question is a bit different, but I think it's kind of cool. So it's, can you tell us what kind of skills you've learned, developed while pursuing your careers for Wowhead and or YouTube?
Oh, probably shut up on Twitter, Danielle. I mean, for Perk, it's very different because we do very, very different things. I, of course, the majority of what I do is not affiliated with Wowhead. I do YouTube and stuff like that. But when I started to do stuff for Wowhead, I realized the impact and the voice and the reach that Wowhead has on the community as a whole, as opposed to just their like niche audience. So I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just that when it comes to Wowhead related things, you're not just representing yourself, which I always have been. You're kind of representing a much bigger group of people at all times. And it's not just the staff of Wowhead. It's like there's so much of the community that sort of like aligns with Wowhead. So you have to be a little more careful about like making any sort of bold statements that involve Wowhead, because, you know, you don't want to like disappoint or misrepresent anybody.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wait, what about you?
Okay, so, yeah, more of a career thing. It's, the first thing that comes to mind is just, like, time management and delegation.
Yeah.
Like, there's a few things tied to that because, the first thing is, like, I started writing all these guides and, like, I spent a lot of time doing them. And, as I got more responsibility, I could spend less time doing it. Plus, it was kind of, I didn't want to be just, like, parroting someone. It's like, why don't I just delegate this and, like, pay the person that knows what they're doing, to write the guide, or if there's a topic I'm not that knowledgeable about, instead of like killing myself to learn about it, like why don't I just get the person that's really good at doing that?
Oh, that's funny. Now that you mention that, that's a lesson that I learned as well. I did that for class changes this expansion. Last expansion and all the previous expansions, I really did like break my back trying to like, get all of this information about things that I knew nothing about. And this year I paid a few people to write me kind of like notes, like TLDRs, so that I would have an easier time digesting it and making a video about it. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and it's also like, Wowhead is more than just like me or one person. And I think it's important to, highlight all the people that do work on this site instead of, feeling like, oh, like I can just put everything in my name and like, I'm in charge of everything and like people will think it's me. It's like, no, like, a lot of it comes from the user comments or people that decide to go above and beyond and, write guides or update it. So I think it's important to, properly, credit and, thank the people that are doing a thing, even if it looks really simple, even if it's like, oh, this is a list, like this took time. It's like, yeah, I sorted through 600 items to find the list.
Yeah.
So, I think like just being respectful of the community and trying to let people shine if they do a good job. And, like just, treat others how you want to be treated is the main thing. So like, sometimes I'd be like, oh, I want this. I wish people would highlight this guide better. So it's like, okay, like I'm in a position of power. I can actually do that to other people and, feel like I'm paying it forward.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I would totally agree. And there's a lot more people, too, who are part of Wowhead than even... There's just so much, like, background stuff that people don't even realize. Like, Sarah, she goes to all these things and, like, live blogs things and, like, transcribes things live. Yeah. And, like, she's super busy and in school and she does all this stuff. And, like, Kitsuki handles so much behind the scenes. Sass handles, like, every single email that goes to Wowhead. It's insane. And then you've got, like, even, like, Steven does all the data mining stuff, and, like, what people don't realize is that they're, like, writing that software themselves. Like, that's a lot of insane work, and, like, when I started at Wowhead, I really was overly ambitious about what I wanted to do, and it wasn't that I couldn't do it, it's that I don't have time to do everything, and I have a huge issue with time management. I always have.
Right. Like, back to the thing, it's like, just...
I just work constantly, and then I have a hard time delegating tasks because I want everything to be a certain way, and then I don't want to be annoying to people. So I don't want to like say, can you do this? But also like, can you do it exactly the way I want it? So when he first started taking over some of the video stuff, I was just floored by how much work he put into making these custom backgrounds when he did the videos so that it wasn't just in the model viewer. You know, he has this like whole like paint box with the sky and the Wowhead logo on the moon, and just so much work goes into the back end of it that people don't see. And you know, it's funny because when something goes wrong, everybody gets so upset and they're so quick to like get angry, but they don't realize like how much goes into everyday things going right. And so
and like, you know, we obviously want things to work right, but like, you know, when even simple things that people take for granted, like, oh, you know, like there's new 7.1 Kieran Tor quest that got hotfixed, and like even the act of like getting the page up or like getting the technology to get that hotfix quest onto the site so people can leave comments, like that's someone, you know, like scrambling around at a crazy hour to
Perk also doesn't sleep. That's one of the things that I learned about Perk, is that she just doesn't sleep. Like I can message Perk at almost any time because I also don't sleep.
You don't sleep either, so
so it works out great. Like when I was introduced to you, like I've met you lots of times before we started working together, but when I was introduced to you on a work, you know, level, Olivia was like, okay, so Perk likes things done perfectly, just so you know. She does not accept anything less than perfect. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm also a perfectionist. She was like, also, don't be afraid to ask her questions at any time. She doesn't sleep. She's a robot. And I was like, all right, same. So I remember when I first started doing stuff for Wowhead, I was really, really nervous because when you were described to me as an employee, you know what I mean? Right, you had so many of the same nuances that I did that we were either going to get along or we were going to hate each other. There was going to not be an in-between.
Right.
And I'm very lucky because I feel like, I'm going to get sappy here for a minute, but not only, you know, has our working relationship been great, and not only have we been able to bounce a lot of ideas off of each other, and I feel like both things that we do when we do stuff together is a little more successful with each other, but like you're such a good friend of mine. I'm so glad that like I met you. That's all.
I am teared up now too.
All right, that's it. Sorry. What's the next question?
That was about it. But
that was all the questions.
Yeah, no, I really like talking about this because there's a lot of just nuances behind the scene that people didn't know about, and like, you know, you listed a bunch of people that maybe our viewership doesn't know about, and like, you know, there's like a lot more devs behind the scene, like, you know, Allie, who subscribed. She's one of our newer devs. She's been, you know, jumped in fully to like all of this, you know, spell updates, and, you know, when we're talking about all the legendary stats, show new stats, she was involved in that, as well as Gerard, who builds like Today in Broken Isles, and he runs WoW tokens, and he makes sure all the tools do the perfect things they're meant to do, and Jarek makes our giveaway graphics you just saw on the show, and does things like make sure the navigation menu shows all the correct things. And there's just
oh my god, the poor graphics guy. I am constantly emailing Perk. Can the graphics guy make something right now? Like all the time. I'm so rude all the time. I will like remember last minute that I want something like for Wowhead Weekly or a ton of stuff for like the Blizzard, our party at BlizzCon, and I'm so sorry. Gerard, if you're watching, that I am responsible for 90% of your headaches, and I apologize.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's just sort of like a good thing, is just sort of being humble and to delegate and like give people recognition when they do something well. And, you know, like if you have like a specialty, like use that specialty to help the site. And if something isn't your specialty, like see if you can train and make that better if you're interested, or like delegate it to someone and be very appreciative that that person does an awesome job.
Yeah. I think that was one of the biggest things I learned when I started working for Wowhead, was just how many people are involved. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot of people behind the scenes. There's a lot of people who do not get the credit that they deserve, even if, you know, you try. It's just they're not necessarily.
Yeah, like people are like, oh, you know, here's pins of Perk and Pans, when it's like, oh, you know, like people think I'm this awesome, reliable news person because I have this awesome team of developers like feeding me all this info that I can turn into awesome posts.
Yeah, but it's a big team effort. It's a big team effort, and I don't know. I'm really I feel very lucky to be part of the Wowhead community and the Wowhead team, because you guys are all awesome, and I feel like we all share a real set of core values and work ethic, and I don't know, we give a crap about things, all right?
Wow.
Sorry,
the show
guys.
suddenly got very serious.
Got very
We care
serious
about the
and
site.
very sappy. Listen, I can't help it. When you ask me how I feel about Perk, I feel very lucky that I met you, because there aren't many people in this world that I just get along with so well. And I feel like you and I get along super well. Or you fake it really well. In which case, bravo, ma'am, because you've got me fooled. You've got me fooled. But yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. TLDR, Wowhead staff is awesome. Not talking about ourselves. Every single other person involved with Wowhead is really awesome and dedicated, and big shout out to them because they're amazing. Lots of cool stuff coming with 7.15. Lots of cool stuff on live servers. And
enter the giveaways for Mischief.
Yeah, there's giveaways, there's videos, there's all sorts of stuff going on. I have a bunch of work to do. Perk has a bunch of stuff to do, though, so we're going to about wrap it up. Thank you so much to everybody who subscribed to us today or follows us on Twitch. If you are watching the VOD of this and you want to catch us live, we stream every Friday around 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time, give or take a little bit, all right? And thank you so much for watching us on YouTube if you do, or tuning in live if you do, or on the embedded page of Wowhead if you do. We are going to go. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you so soon. Goodbye.
Yep, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.